Greetings and welcome to another Stompy 51 miniature adventure, with a particularly warm welcome to my main man Andrew, who swapped his Oglah Khan hobgoblins with me, on the strict understanding that I'd share them visually with you. From the far, far east, beyond the dark lands, Oglah Khan leads his wolf boys to the aid of the highest bidder, outcast from the hordes of the great hobgoblin Khan for acts of high treachery. They now serve as mercenaries in many armies. They are expert archers and ferocious fighters, but every general who hires them must beware. Hobgoblins are treacherous by nature, so you can never be too careful. Because which of us has never imagined the joys of riding the steppe with nothing more than our swords, composite bows, shields, fermented horse milk, and a deep desire to destroy or take over the empires of the pathetic losers of settled agrarian humanity. And if you can't be bothered to read a book, I strongly recommend Zalotaya Arda, The Golden Horde, who has my absolute favourite small screen baddie. And here we have it. A box not quite unsealed, but still stuck in time and space. In 1999, Oglah Khan's Hobgoblin Wolf Boys, a regiment of renown. And though they say that the future is bright, the future is orange, which in itself kind of dates me, it is clear that at this time, the past was green, goblin green. And here we go. Batch 538959, made in the UK again. A phrase very much from the past. And we open it, and we find a discombobulated scramble of plastic and very well cast metal for 1999. So we've got a hobgoblin boy, many hobgoblin boys in their lamellar armor. Isn't that the armor which was just plates of metal sewn onto leather? Which does look slightly terrifying, frankly. You wouldn't want him running towards you, even though he does have a slightly comedy hat. Albeit it's a proper Mongolian hat, isn't it? And I'm sure from looking at the Cobblestone Castings models for the Backer Beyond range, where his Mongols still seem to be wearing those hats, these are something which just survived as a fashion accessory. Well, that's someone's cape. It must be the big Oglah boys. So there's the three boys there. Oops, let's see if we can get all the boys. I mean, that's the thing with these metal kits. Bendy spear syndrome. And I find bendy spears the most annoying thing of all time. And one would hope that these are all a spear that you can just plonk onto anybody. You know, it looks better like that. Held ready to strike. And they must match up with particular arms, because I think not all of them do have lamellar armor, shoulder pads. Or they do. They most certainly do. Let's see what's in this pile over here. Ah, it's the big Og. And he is suffering slightly from bendy spear syndrome, but actually it's not that bad. I can already anticipate painting it and then smearing lots of blood for the blood god all over the top. And we've got a human skull, because having ridden across the plains, they've just ridden through loads of human villages and shared their view on empire culture. What's he holding? Is that actually a wolf? He's got a full-blown wolf on his shoulder, because he's wearing a wolf pelt with the head still on it, just hugging it as he goes. And there are nice loads of shields in here. But one question we can ask ourselves is, would he benefit from one of these equally Mongol-looking shields? He probably would. These look very Mongol-looking, don't they? Let's take that one off and see. I mean, there is a school of thought that because these are so rare that you shouldn't really mess with them. But there is another school of thought that accessorizing is a good thing to do. and he looks like he would benefit from the accessorizing. And let's see what this dude looks like with this shield. You see, the thing is, I have a whole load of normal Goblin Wolf Boys, but they all generally have bows and arrows, because, you know, that's the whole point of their parting Parthian shots. They're supposed to ride by like little annoying teenagers on their little mopeds, take a pot shot with a slingshot, and then run off before the big guys can get them. Which, as I understand it, was really how these Scythian and Mongol plains riders rolled and defeated much more heavily based opponents like the Persians, and I don't know if they got as far as Western Knights. Well, they must have done. So it's a whole load of plastic wolves, but we know what plastic wolves look like. Oh, can I break that off with my fingers? Yes, we can. Well, that's knocked about 20 quid off his value, but yep, I mean, he looks good. He looks good. The question is, would he look better if we were on one of Trish Carden's more modern wolves? He does kind of fit, albeit, is that the place that you would really be sitting? Or would he be sitting further up? But I can't get him further up. Would it matter? And he's not wearing a saddle, albeit you would think someone like him would be riding barebacked. No, they wouldn't look quite right. They wouldn't look quite right. But it shows you that though the wolves haven't aged very well, these ones, the sculpting has aged pretty well for Oglah's boys. And it's just not viable. I mean, it was just fun to explore. You wouldn't even really... Well... No, you wouldn't really fit. I mean, someone who actually has green sculpting talent could work it out. And also, he looks a bit tiny, because these are they giant Fenrisian wolves? So hang on, did we get all 5 out? So we've got a pointy hat guy, a fellow bareheaded, a fellow with traditional head garb, the big Og himself, and oh, what else is in here? Another one of these. And then what else have we got? We've got spears, quivers, you know, because that's what these guys do best. The quivers are not that exciting. There are the quivers. And I'm not even sure where you stick the quivers. Oh, they do have a little piece there to attach them. Oh yeah, there you go. And a little hole over there. So these things are not going to just fall off. They've got a scabbard, swirling swords, as well as actual arrows ready to shoot, and a good old-fashioned bit of orc iconography there, which has weathered well, notwithstanding going east, ever eastwards, as they say in the world at war. And again, I think these shields from 1993 are a bit dated, and these ones will go better. And so, I give you Khan, who is open to discussing the terms of your surrender and all that, being the wrathful kind of guy that he is. So I think it looks good with the wolf pelt shields. Wolf pelts being a bit of a thing for the Mongol horde, I'm sure. Hint, entire wolf head. It took me a while to work out that this wolf pelt kind of cloak was flailing about in the wind at an angle, but it seems to glue okay. I suppose at some point I'll do some green stuffing between the two. I found it quite hard to glue the bodies to the plastic walls because there's not actually that many points of kind of contact, which is a bit strange, and I just need to think more carefully about what those are. I'd kind of forgotten how hard it was to glue together multi-part metals, because a lot of the metals I have are obviously one-piece metals, but they are quite the pain, but well worthwhile. Now this is one of the hobgoblins who's actually showing a bit of initiative and has spotted someone to kind of spear as he rides through the village. Again, that kind of wicker shield looking good. I mean, I know that they would have had kind of, you know, round metallic shields, kind of more commensurate with their social standing as steppe raiders. I guess kind of like that. But, you know, wicker is fine. You know, we're British, nothing wrong with being a wicker man. Now I recognise also that in gluing these together, I have made them slightly harder to paint. But do you know what? I am intensely relaxed about playing with undercoated models, and I will base these and then spray paint them when it's not flipping freezing outside, and I'm not likely to destroy these by the particles in the paint kind of solidifying before they hit the miniature and coating them in a kind of veil of fluffiness. I will have to put a bit of green stuff on that consistently annoying gap between the wolf head and the body, but you know, that is fine. It doesn't require particularly great green stuffing skills, as you can see over there. When it's painted, it kind of looks all right. A few pebbles just to make it look like they are actually somewhere. It'll look a bit more realistic once it's undercoated. I mean, yes, it's pink, but you know, a child gave me these and said, surely Daddy, you can use these for basing. I think they are little pebbles from some kind of little fairy garden thing that the little person has grown out of. And there he is blowing his ram's horn. Poor ram. The banner bearer. I did play with the idea. Where is it? Of doing a bit of a snip, because you can make something personalised. Why not? Because I've got this largely pointless failcast goblin that must be from the Goblin Chariot kit, and I thought, you know, is that not a better banner? But I don't think there's a plausible way really of slicing it off, and it's a bit pointless. It looks alright as it is. I'll find some other use for this. These things always come into some kind of utility. I've lost track of which ones I've shown you. So, probably this fellow we haven't shown you. There we go. Yeah, I probably have made that a bit harder to paint by sticking all these things together. But you know what? At least it'll get use. And as you can see, even though I was looking before at it not fitting on properly onto the Trish Carden walls, query whether they fit properly onto these walls completely. But they look alright, bareback riding as they are. And in terms of whether they kind of fit into the rest of the orc horde, I mean, I suppose they are hobgoblins and thus smaller. And so there's one of the older orcs by Kev Adams, these being by Perry. Well, I'm sure they must be Perry. I'll look it up. And there are some Kev Adams big uns from Renegade Miniatures, and they're all right. I think they look like they're all in keeping. And having embraced that Confucian balance that the Mongols ultimately did in their assimilation into China, at least when it comes to miniature figurine sizes, I think we can leave it there. Whereas ever I exhort you to like, comment and subscribe with a particular focus on commenting and letting me know what you think. All the best, keep well, and see you soon.